in response to the growing number of military veterans who are facing crisis as they return to civilian life and find themselves on the path to homelessness. The Homes for Heroes Foundation was developed. Founder David Howard, for more than 2 decades, has worked to support the men and women who have stood on guard for Canada.
I've been supporting our vets for 25 years. And I got involved because of my grandfather. My grandfather didn't know. He was disassociated with the family. He was an alcoholic. He suffered with shell shock, which is post-traumatic stress, as we call it today. I saw a broken man. And so I got involved and I started a charity called Canadian Legacy Project. And we started food banks and we started post-traumatic stress programming.
Within David's work in the veteran community, he saw a dramatic increase in veterans experiencing homelessness and the need for a solution. The first step at Homes for Heroes was to meet with veterans across Canada.
We hired a researcher and we went out and we met with 200 vets and we said, if we were to build a program, what does it look like? And that's what this is now. So the tiny homes really worked out because we started doing the research in regards to size. And the size aspect is the idea that this is manageable. Apartment buildings, though, they felt closed off, right? And some of them are just too big. So building these communities of tiny homes, inward facing, looking after each other, but the key is the support services.
Many veterans are ingrained with a sense of self-reliance and stoicism, values often emphasized in military training. This can make it difficult for them to acknowledge the need for help. Many veterans take pride in their ability to overcome challenges independently, and some may simply not be aware of the resources and support available to them.
In the first week that we were open, one person said, I'm not ready to do this, and voluntarily withdrew. So they sit down and they're interviewed. We've got 2 full-time counselors, and they get interviewed here, and a program is developed specifically for them. Now, it could be that you have a bad knee. That's contributing to your problem. We're going to get you physio. It could be that you saw some things which people shouldn't see and can't forget, and you can't sleep at night. And that's caused some sort of chemical dependency. So we're going to get you counseling for these things. So they identify the targets of treatment, but they also say, okay, so where did you go and what did you do? What are you entitled to as a veteran? And I'll tell you what, most veterans, and I'm going to say like 90% of veterans, do not know the programs that they're entitled to. Provincial and federal programs and possibly, I'm not sure, municipal programs, they allow these veterans to have enough revenue that they can now afford a roof over their head. And that's the start.
Residency in the village will be temporary, with the goal of having each veteran leave the village and re-enter mainstream society employed, stable, and self-sufficient. The veterans must commit to the program and, more importantly, to themselves.
At the end of the day, it's about the program working with that veteran so they don't end up back on the street again. So we check in with our veterans. Our expectations with them is, at least once a week, we're having a discussion about, okay, what's the plan for next? If we're looking for work, okay, your goal here is job. Okay, who have you applied to? Have we built out your resume? Have we taught you interview skills? A lot of these veterans, they've never had to look for work. They literally have left home after high school, gone straight into the military. They've never had a job as per se, a normal job. They've worked in the military, but they've never actually interviewed for a job. They have no idea how to build a resume. So yeah, it's a program. It's not just housing.
With a mission to end homelessness in Canada, Homes for Heroes are operating veterans villages in Calgary, Edmonton, and the newest here in Kingston, with plans for Winnipeg underway. Their bold expansion plans include locations from coast to coast across Canada.
We will end the issue of homelessness. Look, in 2 years, we've taken 87 people off the street and got them into working. We had a gentleman in Vancouver, okay? He is in Vancouver living in a car that doesn't work. 3 years he's living in that car, in a parking lot, okay? We get him to Edmonton. First week, we get him funding. Second week, we get him job training. Fourth week, he's working. 4 months, he's moved out.
Vets we're talking about really are the ones from Afghanistan, Somalia, places where we've been deployed. The interesting thing is, as long as Canada is a member of NATO and the United Nations, we're going to keep sending soldiers to these horrible places. And they're going to keep coming back broken. That's going to keep happening. So this is not really a problem that's going to go away, and it's a problem that we've probably had for 150 years. We just didn't do anything about it.
It really comes down to just personal, how did I affect at least one person's life every day? Being able to look into the mirror and know that I've had a positive effect in someone's life, and in some cases I've actually saved someone's life, you can't have anything more powerful than that.
For WPBS Weekly, I'm Gail Paquette.